The suspect in Monday's Ohio school shooting is being described as a normal teenager, but some students at Chardon High School say TJ Lane had been bullied.
We want to talk more this morning about bullying with Lee Hirsch, who made a documentary about 5 students who were harassed on a daily basis.
I feel kind of nervous going to school because I like learning, but I have trouble with making friends. Punch me, strangle me, take things from me, sit on me.
Give it to him hard!
He's not safe on that bus.
I've been on that bus. They are just as good as gold.
Be the difference. Go out and find that one child, that new kid standing over there by himself. Be willing to stand up for him.
Everything starts with one and builds up. Eventually, we have an army.
If we all do it together, we will change the world.
That movie, Bully, will be released next month. Lee Hirsch joins us to talk about the movie. I love what he just said. If we all join together, we could make a difference. Because when you listen to the sadness of the kids, Lee, it's heartbreaking what they go through.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, 13+ million kids are bullied in our country every year, probably higher. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of pain, and I think that we are just beginning to really talk about it and start to think about how we can change it. And kids are stepping up, which is amazing.
Well, you know, for so long, when I was growing up, it's sort of kids will be kids. Don't be a tattletale. It's just part of everyday life. But in your documentary, you show very clearly 2 of the 5 students that you follow ended up committing suicide. Yes. What is the breaking points for kids? How do we make the shift from this is not kids will be kids? It really is a Houston, we have a problem. We need to do something about it.
It's absolutely Houston, we have a problem. We are, by talking about it, I think by addressing it, I think this film helps to give a voice to people so that when you finish with this film, no one's saying kids will be kids. Mm-hmm. No one's saying this is something that's just a rite of passage. There's agreement after watching this movie that we have to step up and do something about it. And I think if we can walk in those shoes for a minute and take it on, I think then we want to make it. Then we want to make that change. And absolutely, we have to talk about it.
This is also very personal for you. I know.
It is.
This is but what you went through inspired you to make this film. What has changed, though, to make it seems like bullying in so many ways is so much more violent and personal, and even violent with words because of things like social networking and cell phones. How do you get beyond that, especially as a parent or a school administrator?
Well, I think you have to want to. I think that it's so important to talk about it, for a parent to talk to their kids about it. If they are saying something about bullying, you have to assume that what's really happening is much worse if they've actually been driven to the point where they're talking to you about it, because they don't want to admit those things. They want to be the perfect kid that's doing well, that's not having those problems. So, and for administrators and school officials, and it's all support staff and educators, I think that not only are they looking for tools and support, but sometimes they need to rethink it and rethink how they're approaching it, and are they looking out for that kid that's been in it over and over and again, and if there's something happens, it's not just a conflict, it might be bullying.
Help me understand the rating of the film, because it's my understanding it's now rated R as opposed to PG-13, which I think sort of defeats part of the purpose, because the people you want to see it they're over the age of 17.
Absolutely.
Or under the age of 17.
We were shocked when the film was rated R by the MPAA, and we are fighting to have that decision changed. The irony is that it's saying that kids can't see a movie that's about them. The young boy that you just saw, Alex, went himself, together with Harvey Weinstein, to argue why this film should be seen by young people, by kids, and said, you mean I can't even see my own life?
Yeah, I understand Harvey was on the board, very upset, was talking about even withdrawing from the Academy because of it.
It means a lot to have that support, because as a filmmaker, we want to tell their stories, and we don't want the stories minimized.
Lee, you have been showing this film, though, to students. There are numbers that 80% of kids are bystanders in a situation like this. After kids see this movie, what do they tell you? Does it change anything?
It does. You know, we screened it for 500 students in St. Louis very recently, and it must have been 300 things on our Facebook wall. And many of them were like, I want to now be a principal so that I can stop bullying. A young kid named Max said, I think he was a 7th or 8th grader, said, on my bus ride home today, a kid was getting bullied that's always bullied, and this time I stepped in. I stopped it, and then I took him to the counselor. I walked with him. I made that difference. And he said, I never would have done it had I not seen this movie.
And that's what you are trying to do.
Very much so.
You can say, yeah, you're making a difference. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for everything you're doing.